show, and I've been getting a lot of requests for this character. On a recent post on Shakedown, he said what kind of builds we make this year. I said this was my most fun build personally, my most fun build of the year. And the thing about this build, I never feel outmatched. I never feel like I can't do anything. This build is capable literally of everything. He finishes well, he shoots well, he dribbles extraordinarily well. And I got a lot of requests in that thread about how to make the build, and this is what I'm going to do right now. So just to show you where we at with the build. So he's at a 98 right now, so of course he gets 2 more attributes in every area, which you guys can count, but I will rattle off the key ones, which is basically he leaves off at a driving dunk of 81, a 3-point shot of 80, a ball handle of 91, and a lateral quickness of 74, with a ridiculous rebounding of 86. And of course, with the physicals, his speed winds up at a 97 at 6'7". So a 97 is 6'7" with a 98 acceleration and a 77 vertical. The character moves really, really well. He dunks really well. So the number one thing about this build so I made this build just to see, because nobody was making the build. Like I never ran into it in the park. Everybody was poo-pooing it from day one. We didn't know how much faster this build was going to get with the Gatorade, and we're going over to 99 and stuff like that. So I was just curious because this was such a good build last year, really the last couple of years. And I wanted to see if it was good. And it's great. It's a fantastic build. I have the two-way slashing playmaker. I have an offensive threat. I have a play shot. This is by far my personal favorite build. I'm not saying it's the best build. I think that has a lot to do with your play style, who your team is, who you're playing with, blah, blah, blah. But this build can literally fit into anything. You can't play this build and say, I need to switch, offensively or defensively. That's just my personal opinion and what I've run into, even against really good players. If I lose, I feel like it's me, not the build. There's some builds that I switch off of because I need to do other things. It was with this build seems to provide everything that I need. And so here's my badge layout. You see here, I still need 2 shooting badges. Got to do a lot of slashing on this build. This is what I have so far, although I honestly would probably take 1 off of contact and 1 on Lob City, because once in a while, when you're fatigued, you might not dunk. This just helps out a little bit with those lobs. That's probably what I'm going to leave it on for now. But either way, 6 finishing badges. You see here the shooting badge layout. Now, this is the one thing I would probably do differently about the build. I pick slash and takeover. I would probably go with shot creating takeover, because people love to sag off of this character, and the mid-range is wide open, like literally all the time. And to be able to take those moving shots in the mid-range and to add that extra dimension, especially in takeover, to just be completely unstoppable, get the extra 3-point boost, I think that might be the cheesiest version of this character. Either that or sharpshooting takeover. The slashing takeover is good, that's what I chose, but I don't think it's needed. I think with the hop step's so overpowered that with an 80 drive and dunk, you're fine on the slashing. I would probably boost the shooting. That's the one thing I would do different on this build. And I might tick up his arms just 1 or 2 notches, deal with the 85 ball control until he gets over 95. Maybe I would have done those 2 things. You guys might want to look into that. The playmaking badges, I love it. I was playing with some friends who didn't have shooting builds, and so that Hall of Fame floor general, Hall of Fame diamond came in clutch, playing with basically 2 facilitated finishers, and they could shoot lights out because of those badges. And that bailout, again, facilitating those hop steps. So you take those hop steps and you can pass out of it with a lot of confidence. I don't use ankle breaker or space creator. Nobody can stay in front of this character anyway. If you're at the point guard position, everybody's just too small to deal with him. He just blows by everybody with just a couple of moves. He's very, very good. I'm going to show you guys how he moves before I get out of here. But this defensive badge layout. Now, you notice I don't have like gold intimidator. I will probably actually switch this out, get that pickpocket, help with those steals. He gets a bunch of steals every game. He gets blocks every game. And I mean on-ball steals, not just passing lane steals. Just being 6'7" makes you a much better defender. And I have a 6'5" two-way slashing playmaker, and I feel a little more confident defensively in this build, believe it or not, because of the build size. So you see here I have some badges that feed into the size of the character in case I slide over to the 2 spot in the park, or I need to help out on boards, getting those chase downs, helping out in the paint. It's not something you would do on a 6'3 character, but on this character, it does very well. And this Intimidator is more than enough. I don't have any issues with people shooting shots in my face all the time. So that is the badge layout. That is the setup for this character. And before I go, I'm just going to show you how the character moves so you guys can see. So as you saw, he already has an 89 ball control. So you can do all of your dribbles. I have the profile behind the back. I believe I'm on Iverson right now for the size up. I think I'm on Pro 2 crossover, if I'm not mistaken, and Pro 3 Hezi. And I'm just going to dribble a little bit just to show you the basics of how he moves around, in case you're curious about making this build in these kind of last days of 2K20. But yeah, this is a fantastic ISO build. He can hit step back threes with ease. And I'm not even that good of a shooter on the game. I switch characters too much. I switch game modes too much. I take too many breaks, and I get rusty in my shot. But this guy, if you play on this build all the time, you should have no problem, as Ty Debo would say, moving and grooving, really scoring in any way that you want to with this build. Like he really does move like truly like a guard. Like he can move any which way that he wants to. I like the Iverson because the momentum dribble with this build is very powerful because of, if you're not right in front of him, if you're not completely cutting him off, that little bit of space goes a long way with this character, So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to show that for all the people requesting it. I don't want this video to get too long so you guys can see the build right away. And the last thing I'll say is I have him at the shooting guard position for a very specific reason. So number one, I would have had him at the point, but I wanted him 6'7". So the next best thing was to have him at the shooting guard. And this is so that anybody who is playing with me, if they also have a guard, this gives me a better chance of being put at the 1, which is where I want to be with this character. I want to be at the 1 with this character, ideally. Although he is fine playing off ball because, again, if you have a 79, 83 ball with, what I have, 13 shooting badges, that's more than enough for you to do your thing in terms of catching and shooting. If you know your release, you're going to be very good shooting with this character. And I say that as a person who is not the best shooter in this game right now. I have had times where I've been a better shooter, but every time I miss, I know it's me, it's not the character. And that's the thing. It's like when I'm in the green window, this guy shoots as well as my shooting characters. Being totally honest with you. And for those of you guys who have Hall of Fame floor general, you can see your percentages. It's the last bit of information I'll give you. He is about 52% from right here. With the right now with the 79 is about 52%. It goes up 1 percentage for every shot that you take. I mean, for every shooting attribute that you go up. So he probably maxes out about 54% from about this far away from the basket. So again, you have liberty to take these step back shots and cash out if you're good with your releases. So yeah, I think this is just a fantastic build. And even though the defensive stats don't look amazing, a hidden defensive stat is just the fact that the character's 6'7". So he gets better body ups all the time. He locks people up like he has Hall of Fame clamps, even though it's just on gold. He's fantastic. He's one notch below. If you could have like not a half a pie chart for defense, but like something less, like 40% or 35% defensive, it really is, as my boy Shakedown would say, almost like a triple archetype in that sense, because he's got almost more than that. He's got the shooting, he's got the slashing, he's got the dribbling, he's got the passing, and the defense is there because of the size. I think he plays really, really good defense. I take my defensive matchups with confidence, and when I make mistakes, I feel like it's user error. I very rarely feel like the build failed me on defense, as opposed to when I'm playing my play shot. It's just certain things I know I can't do, even if I'm in the right place at the right time. People just get animations because it's a 6'3" play shot. Even though he has gold clamps and gold intimidator, he just doesn't get the favorable animations. Whereas this character, I would say about 7 or 8 times out of 10, he gets favorable defensive animations compared to most guards. So yeah, you're 6'7" with virtually no drawbacks because you're a 97 speed, 98 acceleration with an 83-point shot, 91 ball control, 81 dunk. And if you're really into contact dunks, I have builds with contact dunks. This build finishes very, very well. Again, because he's 6'7", I think contact dunks are a little bit overrated in the community, because when you're playing a serious competition, you're really not going for contact dunks. You're going for open threes and open dunks and open hop step layups where you're not going to get a contact dunk anyway. I feel like contact dunks are more for fun than for comp, but that's just my personal opinion. For you guys, that may vary, but I never felt like I played against somebody and I was like, oh man, I really wish they didn't have those OP contact dunks. Most of the time, people get finishes that they don't deserve. It's not a contact dunk. It's a layup where you're standing right there, and for some reason, you just don't get a good contest. That's what happens most of the time in my personal experience. But again, depending on who you play with and who you play against, contact dunks might be more important to you. All right, that's going to wrap it up. I hope this satisfied you guys who were looking for this build video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you've been a supporter up until this time, I thank you as always. See y'all in the next one. Peace.